Do you think anyone's going to make the video after my stern warning at our last meeting?
Yes. And I would encourage all CPG brands to reach out to us, make a video, tell us what you want to see from the industry in the next 5 years.
Because we're celebrating 45 years of Expo West, and that's on the path to 50. Which is
and 100, if you put it that way. 45 years. Well, first of all, welcome back to another episode of The Natural List.
Yeah.
I am Adrienne Smith, and this is
Jessica Ravito.
And we should give a shout out to our sponsors because we're so thankful to have them.
Yes. At Dabon, sustainability starts from the soil. For more than a century, Dabon has grown with one mission: to nurture people and planet. Founded in Santa Marta, Colombia, and proudly carried forward by its third generation, Dabon brings sustainable, traceable, and organic palm oil solutions to brands across the world. From the soil to the market, every step reflects our family's commitment to integrity, innovation, and respect for nature. Dabon, the future of palm oil.
Advantage Solutions is the leading omnichannel retail solutions agency in North America, connecting CPG brands and retailers to drive sales for less. Advantage leverages its unparalleled insights, expertise, and relationships to help brands and retailers of all sizes generate demand and get products into the hands of consumers wherever they shop. With a passion for serving founders within the natural and organic channel, FDM, a division of Advantage, helps emerging brands break through, grow with the right retailers, build sustainable momentum, and successfully scale.
Okay, all right, let's talk about 45. Let's talk about 45 years, because you are wrapping up your issue of Natural Foods Merchandising, the show issue. That cover, so fun. Was that from the very first expo?
It was. So we have this great image of the front, the sign from the Anaheim Convention Center, 1981, the very first show. And in the issue, we had a lot of fun looking through all the old archives. We have a ton of photos from that first show, from education. So cool, We have a great interview with Doug Green, where he talks about how he started the first show, how he started Natural Foods Merchandiser magazine, and just kind of the history of New Hope and Expo West.
Yeah.
And then we also talked to some brands that were at the very first show. So traditional medicinals, for example, Wakunaga was another great interview, Edward and Sons. So we have a lot of stories from the very first show.
It's such a great issue. It's packed with insights about 45 years ago, how it started, but then what we want the future to look like. We'll talk about that today as we look at our State of Natural and Organic keynote. But real quick, what is also funny about that cover is, what does the sign say on it?
Time for milk.
Time
go trends, they just go around.
And you called out some of those brands that have been exhibiting since the very beginning. And isn't that such a cool part of Expo West, that you have these companies that have been around for decades? I mean, some of these companies are celebrating these huge milestone anniversaries. And then, of course, you also get those brand new companies and all these great entrepreneurs that have been mentored by some of these industry leaders, are learning from them, but also doing things in a new way. So it's really fun, I think, to see that balance.
Yeah, and one of the things that I mentioned this to you because it blew my mind when I learned this about the first Expo West. So Ronald Reagan's assassination attempt happened on Monday during the first ever Expo West, which was a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday event. And I loved the interview with Doug Green because he said, Sunday was awesome. It was so great. Monday and Tuesday, as soon as the news broke, everybody left. But they gave me another chance. We came back another year, and that's because the whole point of the first Expo West was community. And I think that that's still true today, building community, and look at how that community has grown.
And it's like you feel that when you get there. It's this energy. And what I really love about it, and why I want people to share what they want to see from the next 5 years as we pave the way to 50, is that we are all working towards a common goal. I mean, this industry exists to support the health of people and planet. And that's a really unifying message. And we need that right now. So when you go to Anaheim and you see these, I don't know how many people, 80,000 people. Okay. It's been lots and lots and lots of thousands of people who are all coming to one place because they have businesses and missions that are super aligned and just want to make people healthier and the planet better. This episode is brought to you by A Greener World. Shoppers today want to know how their food is really produced. A Greener World connects mindful consumers, farmers, and brands through meaningful and transparent sustainability certifications. AGW certified producers offer a reliable supply of sustainable, ethical products that consumers trust, helping you meet consumer demand while making a difference for the welfare of our planet, animals, and people. Learn about our certifications and how to source AGW certified products at agreenerworld.org. At Friesland Campina Ingredients, we're committed to providing innovative, nutritious ingredients to address health and well-being challenges worldwide. Our mission is to supply the right ingredients to food and beverage brands, working with them to create highly nutritious and sustainable applications to help people get the most out of life. Always. So one of the things that we will do in honor of the 45th anniversary, there's going to be a ton happening at the show. We'll have an episode that talks about all the new things, get you really, really ready. But you can find a lot of great content, newhope.com, expowest.com, all the places. But I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the State of Natural and Organic Keynote that will be on Wednesday morning, starting at 8:30. This is always our opportunity to say, okay, where are we right now? What is the size of the industry? What are those key categories and growth opportunities? And especially this year, as we celebrate this anniversary, to say, okay, where do we want to go from here? So it's packed with data. We're going to have a great panel that you're going to be leading. We present data that's New Hope Network, Spins, and Whipstitch Capital. And we're just going to talk about where we are and where we're going. And a huge part of that, we have to come back to the consumer.
Yeah.
Why is it that consumers care about this industry more than ever? And really remember that consumers are the reason that we exist. And so understanding what their mentality is, what some of the things that they're demanding and thinking about. So we did some consumer research. We're going to give a little bit of a teaser of some of that. But I just want to remind us that understanding consumer behaviors and shifts is critical to doing good business in this industry, serving your customer.
Well, can I start off with some positive news from that data that I really was drawn to?
Yeah, I love good news.
So just, broadly looking at attributes that are driving purchasing decisions. I mean, what can be more basic than that?
Yeah.
What are consumers looking for? And what I found really inspiring there was that product or ingredient sourcing is up 14%. And environmentally responsible practices are also up 9%. So both of those things, and I'm not going to say 9%, 14% over what. Stay tuned to the State of Natural. But just that positive growth. And both of those things are emerging as really critical factors that are showing, why sustainability and transparency is just so vital to our industry.
That is really important too. And contextualizing that, like we are in interesting economic times. And so it's like, how are people prioritizing? And to know that they are still and actually increasing their awareness around where their products come from. And when they're in the grocery stores, actually thinking about that, despite the fact that, they're having to make some tough decisions around where they spend their dollars. So that is very encouraging for the industry overall. And as it relates to nutritional value and human health, I mean, people are just prioritizing nutrient density, real whole foods, nutrient density in particular, as it relates to those nutritional priorities, saw the largest growth. And this is year over year from how they were prioritizing last year compared to this year through our consumer research, saw the largest growth. It rose from 17% of consumers were prioritizing nutrient density in our survey in 2025 to 25% in 2026.
Yeah.
Nutrient density is key, as is, not surprisingly, protein. And then there's we won't go into all of the nutritional attributes or other attributes driving decisions, but the big picture here, we also see an increase in people wanting certain certifications, made in the USA, non-GMO verified, regenerative.
Yes.
We talked about regenerative on a recent episode. We talk about it a lot, but these values that are driving consumers to make their decisions are stronger than ever.
And that growth in regenerative certification is 10%, which is hardy.
Yeah,
I would say.
That is hardy.
I believe that's a data term. You might not know data terms like I do.
There's this macro shift, not surprisingly, that consumers today want a balance of natural and conventional healthcare.
Yes.
We have dubbed this like flexitarian way of living. But what I think is really powerful about this is that this brings in all different types of consumers into the natural products industry and the health and wellness space. You don't have to be one or the other. You don't have to make decisions that are strictly aligned with alternative medicine or with conventional. And so people are just feeling, I think, a lot more kind of included in this industry. And when I say this industry, I mean conscious products, health and wellness, health and nutrition. It's kind of broad umbrella that we have, but that will continue to grow. Like, I can make decisions and shop in all different places and go to lots of different types of practitioners. No one size fits all approach.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting, just the demographic trend there, that is particularly significant with Gen X and millennials.
Yeah.
With around 50% of that demographic doing that kind of combination conventional alternative health solutions.
Good job. Good job, millennial.
And good job, Gen X. Are you a Gen X?
Oh, yeah, I am Gen X.
Yeah. So there's other kind of like behaviors that we'll talk about that are very specific to the here and now that are defining the industry. Certainly a shift in alcohol consumption and how consumers interact with alcohol, GLP-1s and the impact that that's having on health, wellness, and natural products. And then, as we talked a little bit about before, economic hardships and adjustments there. So State of Natural is really a combination of things that we think will continue on into the future, driving forces, and then some of those things that we have to consider, okay, this is happening right now, and how much into the future will this have an impact? And we bring all of our data together to make those types of predictions, but also have calls to action for the industry and say, okay, we're not always going to know based on the data where things are going, but we can say, okay, further investments in regenerative agriculture and awareness and education around that will just fuel that trend or that opportunity. So it's a little bit of balance.
Yeah, here's the information. Now what do we do with it?
Yes.
Today's episode is brought to you by Lakanto, a brand on a mission to bring chi to life. Founded 30 years ago in Japan, Lakanto's story began with Shota Saraya, a successful entrepreneur with a sweet tooth who was diagnosed with diabetes. Refusing to give up life's sweetness, he and his team developed the modern monk fruit extraction process, creating the world's first monk fruit sweetener. Today, Lakanto offers 0 and reduced sugar sweeteners, syrups, baking mixes, and ready-to-eat snacks, all designed to help people enjoy sweetness as part of a more balanced, intentional way of eating.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited.
You are?
Yeah.
Because you're going to be on stage.
I'm going to be on stage.
Okay, and you're moderating a session. We wanted to bring some of the great leaders of the industry to the stage. So we'll have Gary Hirschberg. We will have Seth Goldman.
Pat Sheridan.
Alyssa Vesio. Yeah.
It's going to be a great panel.
It is going to be a really good panel. And you guys will talk about
TBD. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to be, I think we'll be reflecting on the past and how the industry's evolved over the years. I mean, obviously these are some leaders that have been in the industry a long time. And then I think it's also about looking to the future. Again, what do we want those next 5 years to look like? What do we want Expo West to look like in 5 years' time and down the road?
Yeah. And I could not think of a better group of people to have that conversation and a better moderator to the discussion. Oh, shucks. Yeah, there you go. I also want this to be an opportunity for us to, it's so interesting that this industry has become totally mainstream, right?
Yes.
Like it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, natural and organic products. 45 years ago, niche market. Now it's totally mainstream. But I do believe that Natural Products Expo and Newtopia Now, our various events, are the place where you are able to identify those still niche movements that are going to become the next big thing. So we'll have some of that peppered throughout there too.
Yeah.
So, as what that reminds me of, that article that I shared from the New York Times.
Yes.
So there's a recent New York Times article that talks about nutrient dense convenience, and it featured all these products that we covered like last year because they were like, okay, these are like on the cutting edge. And I was like,
and Emeritus made that exact article.
Yeah. But that shows me we are always one step ahead, whether it be 6 months ahead of coverage around some of these products or 45 years ahead of And so I know we'll come out of Expo West. You will come out of Expo West with all these little nuggets of here's what's next. And I'm sure a lot of those are in our next gallery.
Oh,
as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Finalist gallery.
Lots of
live.
nuggets.
Yeah.
No actual nuggets.
I actually did see a
one
fish
nugget.
nugget.
Fish nugget. Yeah. The fish nugget.
Okay. Well, be sure to check out State of Natural and Organic Keynote.
More nuggets there.
Nuggets everywhere. Fish nuggets, other nuggets.
Knowledge nuggets.
Fish.
Wrap it up.
And also check out the Expo West agenda on expowest.com for the full schedule of programming, as well as, of course, all the great content that we have coming out at hope.com. So, yeah, lots to come.